Most people consume content about growth and never actually grow. They read the posts, they watch the videos, they collect the motivation, and then go back to the same life. The same patterns, same excuses, same version of themselves. And this isn't it. The MindForge podcast exists for people who are serious about the mental work, the discipline, the identity, the hard internal stuff that nobody talks about honestly. And this podcast exists to go even deeper. Every episode, we take what's on the page and we crack it open. The stories behind it, the science underneath it, the application you can actually use. If you're looking for hype, you're in the wrong place. If you're looking to be challenged, to think harder, to leave every episode a little more clear on who you're becoming and what it's going to take, you're exactly where you need to be. I'm Caden Floyd. This is MindForge Podcast, brought to you by Warrior X Training. Let's get to work. At some point, most people stop asking what they want. Not because they gave up, not because they've lost their ambition, but because they got so good at being what everyone else needed that they forgot there was ever a difference between that and who they actually are. And the harder truth underneath this is that you didn't choose most of what you believe about yourself. Your family did, your environment did, the praise that you got as a child did, the version of success that got repeated around you did. And most people go their entire lives without ever stopping to examine any of it. That's what this episode is about. Not throwing away where you came from, not being ungrateful for what you were given, but learning how to look at it clearly and honestly so you can decide for yourself what's worth carrying forward and what's been weighing you down without your permission. Because there is a difference. And until you understand that difference, you can't fully step into who you're becoming. Welcome to MindForge. I'm your host, Caden Floyd, and this is episode 9. Today, we are talking about the blueprint, the identity, the expectations, and the version of success that gets handed to you before you're old enough to actually build your own. We're going to get into why examining that blueprint is one of the most important things you will ever do, how to actually tell the difference between what's worth keeping and what was never really yours to begin with, and what it looks like to start building something that is genuinely, consciously you. Now, this one is personal for me, and I think it's going to hit for a lot of you guys. So let's get into it. Now, I used to think that freedom would feel a lot louder than this. I thought it would feel like confidence, like relief, like the moment you finally step into your own life and everything clicks into place. But for a long time, freedom felt more like guilt, like second-guessing myself and wondering whether choosing myself meant disappointing the people who believed in me the most. Have you ever had a dream that feels right to you, but wrong to the version of you that was raised to please everybody else? That tension, right, where something feels true and terrifying at the same time. That's more common than anyone wants to admit, I feel like. And it doesn't matter how old you are or where you are from or what your life looks like from the outside. I feel like that feeling is universal. Now, you guys know that the plan for me was to become a professional athlete. It was not a maybe in my life or a hope, but it was a guarantee. It was already laid out, already being spoken, like it was done. And I want you to understand what growing up inside that kind of certainty felt like, because it's subtle. Now, when a person gets built around you early, or a path gets built around you early, the identity that forms inside isn't fully yours. It gets shaped by what people praise, by the goals that get repeated around you, and by the version of success that everyone around you seems to agree on. But slowly, without even realizing it, you start confusing their expectations with your identity. You start confusing their approval with your purpose. And before you know it, you're not asking what you want for yourself anymore. You're just trying to become what was already imagined for you. Now, I walked away from all of that, and I thought that walking away would be the hardest part. I thought the decision would set something free for me. But it did not. At least not right away. Because for a while after I decided that I was going to quit, I was still doing the same thing but in a different form. I was still chasing approval. I was still trying to prove my decision made sense to someone else. That I had changed the direction, but not the dependency on the validation. And that's when I realized the real question wasn't, what do I want to do? It was, why do I still feel like I need permission to do it? Because here is something that I have learned, and what I want you to take from this episode, regardless of where you are in your life. The blueprint or the plan that you were handed is not your enemy. Some of what's in it is genuinely yours. The values that were installed in you, a work ethic that was built into you, love and sacrifice that has shaped who you are. That is real, and that is definitely worth honoring. But on the flip side, some of what's in the blueprint was never actually yours. It was a path chosen before you had a voice or an opinion. A definition of success built around someone else's idea of your future. An identity that formed from approval and not from truth. Now the work, and that is real work, is learning to tell the difference. I want you to think about your own life for a second. The beliefs that you carry about what success looks like, what you're supposed to be doing, what kind of person you're supposed to become. Where did those actually come from? Did you choose them, or did they just arrive? Now, that's not a question meant to create doubt in yourself. It's a question meant to create clarity. Because the goal isn't to tear down everything that you were given. The goal is to understand it well enough to make a real choice about it. Some of it you're going to keep. Some of it you're going to question. And some of it, the parts that were never really you finally give yourself permission to let go. Because I spent a long time sitting with that process, doing the actual reflection, asking myself why the guilt was still there after I had already made what I knew was the right decision. Why push myself the way that I do? Where the fear underneath all of that actually comes from. Now that work was heavy, but it was honest. And it was the most important thing I feel like that I have done really ever. Because this is where the real breakthrough happened for me. It wasn't a change in direction, but it was finally looking at everything that direction put inside myself and decided on purpose what stays with me. And somewhere in the middle of all this reflection, the other day when I was writing this podcast, I came across this quote, and it just really solidified this reflection, this part of my life that I'm at. And the quote says that the meaning of life is to give life meaning. Think about that. The meaning of life is to give life meaning, which means that your life's meaning is not something that is handed to you when you're born. It's not locked inside the path someone else has built for you. It's not determined by whether you followed the plan or walked away from it, because you give your life its meaning. You decide what your life stands for. Because that's true whether you're 17 or 65. Whether you're just starting out or starting over. Whether you're in the middle of a huge life transition or just beginning to feel one coming. That sentence didn't teach me something I didn't know, though. It confirmed what I had been slowly arriving at. It gave language to something I already felt that I hadn't fully claimed. Because here's the thing. It wasn't even the first time that this concept, this idea of you creating your own reality and giving your own life's meaning. I believed this because, funny story, when I turned 18, The very first legal tattoo I ever got was a 2-sentence tattoo on my leg. And the tattoo says, "Create yourself." Now, I had gotten that before I had the words for this whole entire concept. Before this reflection, before the hard conversations with myself. But some part of me already understood that the identity you're handed is a starting point. It's not a destination. That you are allowed to decide what comes next and become a different version of yourself whenever you want in your life. Because you create that. And eventually that belief, though, had to go somewhere. It became the reason I started a business. One of the reasons. Now, I want to be honest with you. I'm not standing here as someone who has it all figured out. I know I say that all the time. And I'm not telling you this from the other side of a multi-million-dollar business and a multi-million-dollar person and the other side of success. Because I'm in it right now. I'm building this. Some days are clear and some days are so hard, and I don't always know exactly where it's going. But I know why I'm doing it. And that matters more than I can explain. Because once I truly accepted that my life was something I get to create, I stopped waiting for permission to build. I didn't want to keep living inside a blueprint that looked right from the outside and felt so hollow from the inside. Business became the way I live out what I believe, that I get to choose the direction, the meaning, and the structure of my own life. Because to me, that's authorship. Not just making money, but building something that is genuinely, consciously mine. And this isn't just about business, though. This is about anything that you are building. Your career, your family, your sense of self, the way that you show up for yourself every day and others. Whatever it is that you are trying to create, the question is the same. Is this coming from who you actually are, or from who you were handed? So here's what I want to leave you with. You were handed a blueprint, and some of it is beautiful. Some of it reflects real love, real sacrifice, real values that deserve to be carried forward. Be proud of that and honor it. But some of it was never yours. Some of it was a path built for you before you could speak for yourself. And the bravest thing you can do at any age in any season of your life is to sit down with all of it, look at it so clearly, and decide what you're keeping. Not out of rebellion or ingratitude, but out of respect for who you actually are and who you want to become. Because you are not just what you were given. You are what you choose to do with it. Stand firm in that. Even when it is so hard, even when people don't understand what the heck you're doing, even when the version of you that was built to seek approval starts to whisper that you're getting it wrong. You are not getting it wrong. You are finally getting it right. The people who love you may not always understand the path you're choosing, but the people who truly love you will eventually see it. In the way that you carry yourself, and the conviction behind what you're building, and the person you are becoming on purpose. And that person, the one you are choosing to be, is worth every hard conversation, every moment of uncertainty, every step taken without a guarantee at the end of it. Remember that the meaning of life is to give your life meaning. You give it, you create it, every single day on purpose. That's not just a tattoo on my leg. It's a reminder that no matter where you started, you get to decide where your life goes. And I believe with everything that I have, that you are more than ready to decide. So stand firm in you and your authenticity. Never give up on your dreams, because you can always change who you are and become the best version of yourself, no matter where you are at. Stand firm in that, stay strong, stay in the forge, and I'll see you next week. That's a wrap on today's episode. If this hit home for you, go read the companion post over on the MindForge blog at warriorxtraining.com. That's where it all starts. Every episode lives inside one of those posts, so if you want the full picture, that's where you go. Follow the show, share it with someone who needs it, and I'll see you back here next week. I'm Caden Floyd. Stay in the Forge.